He never stopped smiling.
For a quick bit of backstory, I'm 25, female, and a commuter. I live about an hour away from where I work, and I drive an old car that I'm replacing soon. A few weeks ago, I had a bad cold. I'd even lost my voice, so I decided to stop by a clinic after I'd clocked out. By the time I got out, it was dark. The good thing about this is that the area of the city I work in is fucking abandoned after dark, so I knew it wouldn't take me quite as long to get home as it usually does. I sometimes hung around the area until after dark for this exact reason. I got stuck at a punishment light near my job that takes about 5 minutes to turn green if you don't make it. I pulled up just as the light turned red and cursed quietly to myself. I barely noticed the guy who pulled up beside me at first, but a few seconds after he did, I felt that hackle-raising primal unease that comes when you feel someone staring at you. I looked. A large, beaten-up white van that looked like it belonged in a try-hard horror film had pulled up beside my car, and the driver was an older man. He was smiling at me. His smile was like a combination of Freaky Fred and the Cheshire Cat, but with less teeth. There was something horribly unnatural about it, and I didn't know what to do. I smiled back softly, trying to reduce some of the tension, sure he was just being friendly. He started waving rapidly and shouted something that I think was, "You're beautiful," but I'm honestly unsure. I was a little wigged out. I smiled again and stared back at the road, hoping he would stop, but I kept feeling his smile. I figured once the light turned green I would lose him, so when it finally did, I took off as quickly as my old chuggy car would take me. A few seconds later, I noticed I was being tailgated because headlights filled my car. They were flashing. I looked back and the guy was behind me. I wondered if I was dragging something or had a flat tire and he was trying to be nice, but I realized quickly that that wasn't it when I saw him getting even closer and saw the look in his eyes in my rearview mirror. That smile. He was laughing by then. My heart raced. I felt very aware of the fact that my car can't maintain a high speed for long, and that there would be times it would hesitate or slow down, and that might give him enough time to hit me. I merged into the next lane without signaling when I felt my car start to slow a little. He did too. Then I noticed the bridge I crossed into the next city, my city, was coming up. At this point, he had been following me for about 5 miles. I figured maybe, I was being paranoid, and knew there was no way he'd follow me that far. He had to give up, right? So I tried to calm myself down and took the bridge as fast as I could, trying not to look in the rearview mirror. When I felt my car slow, I either merged or started to pull into the next lane a little, like I was going to. He seemed to be copying my moves exactly. 10 miles. I started to think about pulling in somewhere and asking for help, but I had a feeling he would follow or grab me if I tried. Plus, I sounded like a dying goose. I remembered how my mom was once followed and tried to ask for help only to have the people laugh at her and try to give her over to her pursuer. I decided to use my knowledge of the area to my advantage instead. I sped up as I approached my next turn, and he sped up too, still grinning. I took the turn wide and stepped on the gas to take off down the road fast before my car could hesitate. By the time he tried to copy me, it was too late. I was gone. I heard him skid, but not crash. By the time he could have recovered and gotten around that corner, I was gone. 15 miles. I never hang around after dark anymore.
My mother's story.
This was in the days before cell phones. My mom was driving home on this mountainous highway where there's very long stretches of road with no real place to pull over and no rest stops. She went into a truck stop for some food after driving for a couple hours and saw something similar to what happened to me. A creepy dude staring at her from the next booth and smiling. She ignored him. When she got up to leave, he followed her and started tailgating her. She panicked and tried to lose him, but it didn't work. At all. The next rest stop she saw, she pulled over and went running inside. "This guy is following me," she said. "He's just being friendly," they said. Then she saw the guy had followed her in, and the men were like, "He probably just wants to get to know you." She hung out there for a while and called my dad to let him know what had happened. He eventually left the store and she felt safe, but when she went outside, he was waiting for her in the parking lot, laughing. He drove off after her when she left. She took off down the highway and eventually lost him by pulling a move similar to what I did, except she tore off at an exit. A couple days later, a woman who looked similar to my mom was found dead in a dumpster on that highway. I'm not sure if that was a coincidence or not. I tried asking my mom if she ever found out if the murderer was the same guy. She said no.